Okay, so I just finished up watching the second Democratic debate, and this was the most exciting debate that I saw yet. I mean, this was definitely the best debate of the race. Now, when it comes to the winners and losers, I'm going to get to the loser first because this is a bit easier to determine who lost. It was a clear loser this time, and that was Hillary Clinton. There's absolutely no way the media can spin this and say that she won this time, because last time, I mean, I thought that she did pretty well. So I wasn't as outraged at the fact that the media said that she won, even though I thought that it was clear Bernie Sanders won. But this time, there's absolutely no way you can spin it. Hillary Clinton was the clear loser. Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley both pretty much pummeled her when it came to campaign finance, when it came to Wall Street, when it came to a plethora of issues. And at the times when she answered the questions, I thought relatively well. Well, Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley, they both did a good job too. So when it comes to race issues, I thought that all three of them did a good job. When it comes to foreign policy, I thought that all three of them did a good job, even though Hillary Clinton gave a good answer. So definitely, I really do think it's the case that Hillary Clinton did not come out looking too good. She was on the defensive pretty much the entire night. Now, as for the winner, this is really, really tough for me because last time it was very clear. I mean, the winner was definitely Bernie Sanders. This time, I also think that the winner is Bernie Sanders again, but there's a caveat to that. It was very, very close. I mean, Martin O'Malley is just behind Bernie Sanders because I think pretty much for the first half of the debate, I thought that Martin O'Malley was definitely the winner. I mean, he had such big moments. He was getting the crowd worked up. I mean, if you looked at statistics from Twitter, I mean, he was spiking. He went from, I think, 3 to 4% at the beginning of the debate to 30% of the conversation. So, I mean, he really had a lot of breakout moments. However, Bernie Sanders, he got some reactions from the crowds. Maybe not as intense as Martin O'Malley. However, I think that Bernie Sanders was more consistent in just sticking to the substance. And overall, I think that Bernie Sanders won, but by maybe a hair. Bernie Sanders did absolutely great. So now the reason why I say that, let me elaborate more on why I think Bernie Sanders won. Because I think that Bernie Sanders just kind of had a continued steady momentum throughout the debate. I didn't really see any strong dips like last time. So for example, during the first debate, I thought that Bernie Sanders stumbled so hard at the beginning when it came to gun reform. But I think he did a lot better at maintaining a consistent position in there. But when it comes to Martin O'Malley, there was a lot of really high moments, but then there were also some low moments. I mean, at the beginning of the debate, Martin O'Malley, he wasn't doing very much. He was being Ted Cruz-y and being kind of a politician, a little bit smarmy. But I think that there were times when we kind of actually saw the real Martin O'Malley, where he was less robotic and he was being more genuine, I felt like. Because the last debate, I thought he was being completely insincere. So, yeah, I think that Bernie Sanders overall maintained the most consistent amount of momentum, whereas I think that Martin O'Malley had some spikes, but he also had some dips, and overall I think that it just kind of leans towards Bernie Sanders. But keep in mind the fact that I'm incredibly biased in Bernie Sanders' favor, and I agree with him most. But overall, I think that objectively, Bernie Sanders is going to come out probably looking the best because he already has a ton of momentum on his side. He has young people going crazy all over the country. I mean, if you go to any college campus, you're going to see a ton of Bernie shirts, a ton of Bernie Sanders campaign posters and whatnot all over the place. You don't see any Martin O'Malley or Hillary Clinton posters or anything. So I think that Bernie Sanders is going to get a little bit of a boost from this. Who knows? I'm really excited to see the polls. I haven't looked at any push polls yet. I haven't heard analyses from any other media outlet, so this is 100% purely unadulterated opinion from me. So if I'm completely wrong, we'll see. But I really think that Bernie Sanders did a great job. Now let me get into some specifics now that I gave you the general overview. I thought that the moderators were actually pretty tough on Hillary Clinton, and this is good because out of all three of the candidates, she's kind of the one that has the most to answer for. I think that she took such a huge beating. I mean, I think the most memorable part of the debate was her trying to defend herself against her campaign contributions. And Bernie Sanders, I mean, he swept the floor with her. He also kind of got some insults there on Martin O'Malley because Martin O'Malley has a super PAC as well. But I mean, Bernie Sanders cleaned house when it comes to her campaign contributions. They're absolutely corrupt. And the fact that I mean, look, I just can't say it enough. I mean, the way that he handled her campaign contributions was insane. Like, I was blown away by it. I was actually like clapping during the debate. That's how excited I was. Because, I mean, it's something that needed to be said. It was the elephant in the room. And then right afterwards, I mean, you saw Hillary Clinton, I mean, just lash out. She was actually angry when I'm surprised by that because, I mean, she had to have suspected that she would have been questioned on her campaign contributions. How do you expect to take so much money from Wall Street and have them be your number one donor and not expect to be questioned on it, especially when the issue of campaign finance reform is so salient among Democratic voters? I don't get how she wasn't prepared for that, but clearly she wasn't. She lashed out and said that Bernie Sanders was questioning her integrity. And then Bernie Sanders kind of backed off at that point. But I don't think he should have backed off because, yeah, Hillary, we are questioning your integrity and it needs to be questioned because you've done a lot of things that seem as though you are influenced by Wall Street. And furthermore, the fact that she doesn't think that Glass-Steagall is sufficient, what she doesn't realize is that Glass-Steagall was part of New Deal legislation, and Glass-Steagall prevented these types of economic collapses, at least, in one respect. So the fact that she didn't come out strong on Glass-Steagall, I thought that was really embarrassing for a Democratic candidate. Now, when it comes to the minimum wage, this is another area wherein Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley cleaned house. I mean, Hillary Clinton came out looking so bad. I mean, there's so much momentum right now of organized workers who are fighting for a minimum wage for $15 per hour. And by the time we even get $15 per hour as a minimum wage, if we can secure that goal, well, then it's going to be more insufficient because by the time, let's say, we get $15 in 10 years, let's just say that hypothetically. Well, then by then, inflation will have already risen, and then that probably won't be sufficient, so you'll have to have a $17 minimum wage. So the fact that she wants a $12 minimum wage is just laughable, and I did a video the other day where I kind of went through not every single, but I looked at some specific counties, and I showed you guys how it's the case that $12 per hour, it's not a living wage. It's not a living wage even for individuals in many, many counties throughout the country, especially on the East Coast and in Southern California and whatnot. So I think that she looked terrible when it came to minimum wage, and this was another area where I think Martin O'Malley excelled. I think maybe even Martin O'Malley came out looking a tiny bit better than Bernie Sanders when it comes to the minimum wage portion, because I think that he was good to boast about how well he did in Maryland. Now, one area where I think that Bernie Sanders kind of got Martin O'Malley and made him look pretty bad was during the gun debate. This is why I think that Bernie Sanders didn't do too bad on gun control this time as opposed to last time. I think that he actually held his own and did a lot better. And this is not something that Hillary Clinton wants to hear because this was the one area where she can kind of say, look, I'm the true progressive here. But I think that Bernie Sanders, he maintained consistency. I don't know that there was any true winners in the gun debate this time, whereas last time you could tell that Martin O'Malley and Hillary Clinton clearly had come out on top, whereas Bernie Sanders didn't do too well. But when Bernie Sanders said, I don't think, Martin O'Malley, that Baltimore is any safe today from violence and whatnot, that was a huge moment, I think, because Martin O'Malley likes to boast about his record in Baltimore, but the fact of the matter is that Baltimore is kind of in ruins right now. And look, he may have done some good things in Baltimore, but the fact of the matter is that I find it really difficult to boast about Maryland when, with the current state that it's in. But nonetheless, I mean, that's what he's got. So he's gonna run on that record. I was a little bit frustrated that climate change didn't come up. Bernie Sanders, he was able to mention it briefly because they asked him during the first part when it comes to foreign affairs whether or not he thinks that climate change is the biggest issue that we're facing in terms of national security. And I think that he was right to stand by that statement because it's absolutely true. And furthermore, I think that Bernie Sanders earned some extra brownie points when he linked the rise of extremism and whatnot and terrorism throughout the globe as part of climate change, because whether we like it or not, I mean, we're going to start seeing a lot of insecurity and international instability as a result of climate change. There was a report that came out, I think like a month ago, where it said that by 2100, there were some areas in the Middle East that will be uninhabitable. So, of course, there's going to be wars. There may be power vacuums. So, some criminal organizations might emerge from that. And, of course, the problem of terrorism is going to perpetuate. So I thought that was really brilliant of him to come out and link that to climate change, because it's true. He's 100% correct. Now, furthermore, I like that the moderators asked really tough questions. When they talked about Hillary Clinton, how she completely talks about how, Bernie Sanders, his vote to protect the gun manufacturer industry, well, that's unforgivable. Well, they kind of retorted with, well, isn't your vote on Iraq also unforgivable? Because I think that's a lot more of a mistake than Bernie Sanders' vote to protect the gun manufacturer industry. And now, look, that's an oversimplification, because he didn't just vote against that because he wanted to protect them. I mean, it was a bill packed with a lot. So you can't really just look at it and say, well, it's either for or against gun manufacturer protection, because there's more nuance to it than that. It's not black or white. But I thought that was great. And when it comes to both Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley teaming up again to kind of take on Hillary Clinton, and how much of a mistake it was for that Iraq war vote, she came out so bad. Now, that's not to say that she didn't have any okay moments or relatively good moments, but I mean, there's a clear person who did not come out on top, and that's Hillary Clinton. So the winner to me is Bernie Sanders by a hair. Martin O'Malley comes in a very, very close second. And furthermore, Hillary Clinton is a distant third. Now, here's why I'm actually happy that Martin O'Malley is doing well. We want Martin O'Malley to get a boost, because if Martin O'Malley gets a boost, then presumably this is going to take support away from Hillary Clinton. And if support is taken away from Hillary Clinton, then that means her numbers will go down, and that will bring her more closer to Bernie Sanders. So we kind of need that third candidate that's strong to balance out the other two candidates. So the way that Joe Biden kind of took support away from Hillary Clinton, the way that John Edwards took support away from Hillary Clinton, well, that's what we need this time. So we actually, as Bernie Sanders supporters, need Martin O'Malley to actually get some boosts in this election, because right now he's polling at like 3%. That's not going to cut it. So I would like to see Martin O'Malley actually rise up in the polls as a result of this, because I think it's going to help out Bernie Sanders. So it's in my own self-interest to promote Bernie Sanders' cause that I want Martin O'Malley to do a little bit better. But I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think about the debate, just because it was so close between Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley. I'm hoping that, my bias isn't clouding my judgment, but I actually legitimately do think that Bernie Sanders came out on top. It's just that, man, this was close. So I think that if someone does say to me that they think Martin O'Malley won, I wouldn't be super outraged by that. But if anybody says that Hillary Clinton won this debate, come on. That's completely unreasonable. She was on the defensive the entire time. She came out looking terrible on minimum wage. She came out looking absolutely horrific when it comes to campaign contributions from Wall Street. And look, I think that Bernie Sanders clearly outshined Hillary Clinton. And I think that since he's got more momentum than Martin O'Malley, I think that this could potentially benefit him. So I'm really excited to see if this does translate well into the polls. However, unless, polling companies improve the methodology and start including younger voters, I don't think we're going to be able to accurately gauge who's more likely to win either Iowa or New Hampshire. So there's problems there with that. But overall, Bernie Sanders, I think he came away on top. I think that he has the most to win. Hillary Clinton had the most to lose, and that definitely happened. But also, I think Martin O'Malley, I think that he kind of made it so that way he's going to give himself some more longevity. I don't necessarily think this is going to mean that he has a chance of winning, because I don't think that's the case at all. But I think that this is going to give him that boost that will kind of propel him into maybe a longer campaign. Maybe it'll get him to Super Tuesday, whereas I thought if things keep going the way they're going, he's probably going to drop out. So that's my take on the Democratic debate. I am curious to know who you guys think won. So comment down below. Sorry that this is a audio as opposed to visual, but as I stated when I reviewed the Republican debate, I'm currently off because I have a lot of schoolwork and stuff going on. So I'll be back on Thursday with a new episode recorded, and I'll post the first segment from that episode then. So I'll see you guys then. Take care.